Call it Pop Bubba Sparks.
Booty, rockin' everywhere. Booty, rockin' everywhere.
Hey guys, what's up? This is another commentary by Fatty XL, and I am bringing you guys a grid domination gameplay with the MP5K Rapid Fire. But today, I don't really want to talk to you guys about the gameplay. I just want to touch on the create class setups that I think are, well, a really good create class. And one of the first things you're going to think of when I say create a class, you're going to say, oh, your guns. And that obviously that plays a big part in it, but I think the most important thing in a created class is the perks. So in perk 1 slot, you have the options of Ghost, Flak Jacket, Hardline, and what's the last one? And Lightweight. So they're all pretty good, but between those, I would stick with either Flak Jacket or Ghost. Hardline can be useful in many situations, and I would only really use Lightweight if you're really planning to rush. In this game, I'm using Ghost, and in most of my gameplays, I either have Ghost or Flak Jacket on. Every once in a while, you'll catch me maybe using some Hardline, but anyways, for the second perk slot, your options are Sleight of Hand, Steady Aim, Hardened, and if I'm forgetting anything, just put it in the comments. But between those, definitely the best with the Pro add-on. Sleight of Hand, the Pro gives you such an advantage, it's ridiculous, and I would almost always be running that perk. If you have the Pro for Hardened, it is also very useful, but I don't really go for the Pros that much, so all I have is Sleight of Hand Pro. So for second perk, Sleight of Hand or Hardened, definitely. Can't go wrong with either of those perks. Steady Aim could be decent in some situations, and I don't know why I can't think of the other one. But third perk, your options are Ninja, Tactical Mask, Marathon, and Hacker. So between those, they're all actually really good third perks, but I would have to go with Ninja in almost any situation. Like in a GB match where they're going to hear you like the whole time if you don't have Ninja, and everyone uses Astros, Turtle Beaches, any headsets that it's decent, you always want to have Ninja. Pro is nice, but you need just Ninja no matter what. The only time I could see you not needing it is if you're playing a Radar Always On match, because then it doesn't matter if they can hear your footsteps, because your position is already given away. Tactical Mask kind of sucks, but if you have the Pro, it immediately upgrades the standards of Tactical Mask like times 20, because the Pro add-on is just so amazing on that, it's ridiculous. Marathon is not something you'll see me using too much, but I could see it being useful if you're running with like Lightweight and just rushing their spawn, trying to get like a multi-spray or something like that. Maybe on no, actually on Search and Destroy you don't want Marathon. What else? Hacker. Hacker's a decent option. You're not going to get much use out of the Pro unless you actually find a situation where you're going to hack equipment or a care pack. Well, maybe equipment, but care packages not so much. But just plain old Hacker, if you run that with Flak Jacket, you're invincible from Claymores, which is pretty fun. But like I said, for your third perk, you're going to want to stick with Ninja. So, moving on to the guns, second most important thing in a creative class. Generally, you're going to want to use something like an assault rifle or maybe an SMG. Now, between the assault rifles in this game, you know that lag and connection is a pretty big deal in this game. So, since the lag makes a big difference, you're going to want to use a weapon that has a high rate of fire, because that means the more bullets you get in your enemies, the better. I mean, it doesn't matter how powerful it is. You just want to put rounds in your enemy. So the fast fire rate assault rifles are probably like the FAMAS, the AUG, and the G11 has a decent fire rate for 3-round burst, and it has that extra range that you need against other weapons. Then you can stack up against snipers and LMGs and other long-range weapons. The AK-47, it actually has a pretty slow rate of fire, but the power makes up for it. Now, I know a lot of people are somewhat of a fan of the Galil, but I actually don't like that weapon. The fire rate is terrible. The accuracy is not enough to make up for it, and the power isn't anything special either. So, if you must use something other than an assault rifle, then I'd probably tell you to use an SMG. And the 74U before, yeah, go use that in any game type, any situation. You can long-range sniper rifles, but after the most recent patch, the AK-47 has been nerfed down a bit. Number one, the main thing they did, the recoil just increased by a lot. And what they did, they made the grip and rapid fire attachments, they pretty much made those attachments suck. So if you're using an SMG, I would only use the MP5K or the AK-74U, maybe the Spectre, or maybe the MPL. So moving on, your equipment, you're generally going to run with something like a Claymore. Almost in all situations I use Claymore. Maybe a motion sensor if you, I don't know, if you like motion sensors, go for it. Also good. Jammers are okay. The only thing I love about them is the high radius they have. But anyways, so Claymores for your equipment is what I would use. And then your sidearm, your pistol, secondary, whatever you want to call it. The number one, don't use a special. Never. No specials. Bad. Now, launcher, the only launchers I would use are either the Law or the Strela, because those two launchers can take down air support easily and lock on. But I only have one class with those weapons, with Ghost and for anti-air support. But like in a normal class you're using to, say, do good in a public match on Xbox Live or PS3, whatever you guys got. I have Xbox only. I don't have a PS3, but I may get one as soon as I get the money. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, sidearms. You're gonna want to have a handgun with extended mags, most likely. So the Magnum or the Python, not Magnum, does not have the extended mag attachment, but it is still a good choice because of the high power it has. The M1911 has a moderate power and terrible clip size, but when you put on extended, it greatly increases it. In fact, it doubles it. So I love the M1911, probably my personal favorite pistol. Another good option is the Makarov extended mags. Very good for, like, if you have a fast trigger finger, definitely use that. The CZ75, I know not all of you are going to agree with me on this, but I think that is the worst pistol in the game. The ASP would actually be really good if it had extended mags, but sadly it only holds 7 shots, so not enough. But the CZ75 is already a terrible weapon. Takes 3 bullets to kill, doesn't have great accuracy, and you may think, oh yeah, but put on full auto upgrade, that makes it much better. Actually, if you put on the full auto upgrade, I tested it in a private match, it makes it take 1 more bullet to kill. And it has extra recoil added onto it, so when you put all that into the equation, it makes it a worse gun. So stay away from the CZ75 and never use that. I'd use a Python, Makarov, or M1911. Your tactical grenades, I would either use stuns, well, not stuns, they're concussions in this game, or flashbangs, flash grenades, whatever they're called. Nova gas is okay in certain situations, like if you're playing an objective, just toss it on the objective, but considering you only have one, I would pick flashbangs or concussions. Now, flashbangs probably do more work, but you have to consider concussions throw so much faster than flashbangs. Like, you can get killed so easily while you're trying to throw a flashbang, so I would almost always run concussions. Willie Pete sucks. I'm not going to lie about that. Decoys, not very good either unless you're playing Radar Always On, which I'm not a big fan of Radar Always On matches, but some of my friends are, so if you like Radar Always On, throw on a decoy. So that's, I can't believe I was just about to say that's all there is for create a class. Your attachments, very important. Let's just choose an average, a FAMAS. If I'm using a FAMAS, there are pretty much 4, maybe 5 attachments that could actually benefit me. Number 1, very obvious, extended mags. It gives you a larger clip size, very simple and extremely helpful if you're trying to take out large groups of people, if you're playing ground war, if you're playing demolition, spawn trapping, whatever the situation may be. Extended mags is amazing. The second one that makes an obvious effect, dual mags. Now, I know the reload is not that impressive. It's cool. Every other reload you get a faster reload, which is nice in itself, but the main reason I like dual mags, it gives you that extra ammo which you're going to need, especially if you're not running scavenger. Then I like to put on dual mags. Another one that makes a big difference, the suppressor. The suppressor makes you invisible to radar when you're shooting, and it makes it quieter. Now, for people like me, I don't really care about the quieter because I can hear it fine. because I have Turtle Beaches, but you get the point. It's still quieter. Another attachment that is very simple, doesn't actually technically do anything, but it helps a lot of people out, like the red dot sight. That's what I use on my FAMAS. If you can deal with iron sights, well, good for you. Then that means you can use extended mags or dual mags. But the red dot sight, I need it. Improves my accuracy. I feel like I have more range when I use it. So if you feel like you're more accurate with red dot sight, then go for it. Very good attachment choice. You're gonna want to stay away from ACOG, infrared. Let me see, what else would be good? Well, I guess if you're using an SMG, like big ammo, drum mag, whatever. But you're generally not going to want to use an LMG, except like the M60 is pretty nice, but still I wouldn't, or a Stoner 63, but I still wouldn't recommend using an LMG. So my gameplay is coming towards an end here, and I pick up this, oh yeah, that's another attachment. I pick up the AK with Noob Tube. Don't use Noob Tubes, not a good weapon attachment, and that's the end of my commentary. Thank you, FattyXL.